I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of The Shooting Show, and welcome to today's program. We are so pleased to be here, and yes, the network, the Shooting Express Network, promoted by our good friend Ed Hubble, is off to a great start, friends. I tell you what, we have to make a start. We have to. We don't have any choice. You know, the large organizations, and many of you heard me get on the NRA many times, and you know what's so aggravating about them and some of the other organizations out there? They've got the money that they could do a TV network. They could do all the programming in the world they wanted to do. You know what? Here we are doing it. Heck, they could hire us to do it. They could hire somebody else to do it. But they're not. And I want to know, what in the world are they thinking about? Because right now, we as gun owners are an endangered species. You know, this jungle gun, which you've seen many times on the program, is a regular semi-automatic 12-gauge shotgun, very similar to guns that people have for shooting skeet, for shooting sporting clays, for shooting squirrels, for shooting ducks. Hey friends, Bill Clinton and the New World Order, they're coming for everything that goes bang. And I can't understand why some of the large organizations are not more willing to jump in and help. You know, we've been out here, this is our 9th year on the air nationwide. I think tonight's program is number 379 or 378, somewhere there. I've lost count. It's around 380 programs. That may be it tonight, in fact. And that's a lot of hours on television that we have spent trying to educate people. And you know what? The American people, when presented with the truth, when it's fairly presented, the truth always wins when it's fairly presented. But you see, friends, the New World Order, the global unionists, and you're even hearing Rush, even Rush talking about the New World Order. Look what they're doing in Kosovo, or have been doing in Kosovo, in Bosnia, in Haiti, a lot of other places. They want to make the all-powerful United Nations, and you know the UN is controlled by a handful of people, a handful of financial people, a handful of international power brokers. And you know what? The people who fought the American Revolution, they had the same situation then. They had a king over in England, they had a few financial power brokers, and that's who they were fighting against. The all-powerful, all-controlling few. You know, a good friend of ours went to a meeting of a particular conservative organization, which will go unnamed. And they were supposed to be very conservative, and, you know, had all those fellas sitting around there in their suits and their ties, and, you know, they thought it was great, and they were contributing large dollars to help their organization, you know. And they sit around and talk, and they correspond with each other, but they're not doing anything to reach the American public. And that's why we're here tonight. That's why we're here on this program, friends, because we believe there's safety in numbers. And we believe, as honest and sincere, as patriotic Americans, that the numbers are out there who agree with the Constitution of the United States. And you know what? The Second Amendment is absolutely crystal clear. All you have to do is read it. Has personal armament, has nothing to do with the militia. The militia had no effect on the personal arms of the people. The people were expected to have their own personally owned firearms. Hey, where do you think the colonists, where do you think they got their guns? They darn sure weren't passed out by the government. And friends, it's serious now. Unfortunately, so many of our fine conservative folks are as conservative with their billfold as they are with their beliefs. And the problem is, and I know we're overtaxed, everything costs too much and all that. But you know what? If some of us don't start getting into this fight, if you can't do it physically, you can do it financially. If you can't do it, if you yourself can't broadcast, that's okay. We're here doing that. We're trying to reach people. Won't you please help us? We've got to have help to stay on the air. We have to. You know, so many times over the past several years, I have told our audience in the Shooting Show audience, and for that matter our other programs, said, look, it is so difficult and a very few, a handful of people have contributed to help us stay on. But friends, it's going to take more contributions. It is. If we're going to reach more people, it is going to take more contributions. Are you ready to give up? Are you ready to turn them in? Are you ready to literally say, here, Mr. Clinton, here's my gun. Please don't come get me. Please leave my family alone. Please, sir. I'm not ready to do that. Now, doggone it, somebody out there has got to find a little courage. Somebody out there has got to be willing to go to bat for the United States of America. Now, doggone it, if I seem upset, I am upset, because look what's happening to us. Look at this trash in the paper. Look how, we're getting crucified in the newspapers. We're getting crucified on television. And you ought to get upset. You've got to get upset. You have to. We've got to reach more people. You say, well, Johnny there, he's a little bit radical. No, I'm not. I've just faced the truth. I've decided not to buy beer on Saturday night and rent a goofy movie or go to a ball game or something that doesn't have a hoot and a whirlwind to do with anything about the outcome. Listen, today I was listening to a report that came out of Nazi Germany on when the American soldiers walked into the death camps. And there are a lot of good Jewish folks here in the United States, and some of those folks are anti-gun. I cannot imagine in my wildest dreams how in the world someone of Jewish descent could possibly be for disarming the public, disarming the civilians. It told about the U.S. soldiers went inside those death camps and they saw the stacks of human skulls on the floor. They saw in the ovens, they saw the remnants of bodies. They saw little children, twins that the Nazi doctors did experiments on where they didn't have an arm or something. They did experiments on them just because they thought they were less than human. Now they did that, friends. They said they went inside the gas chambers, and you know what they saw on the walls? They saw claw marks where those pitiful, innocent men, women, and children were gassed and murdered. Now, all that, why do we have to forget? Why can't we pass this on to our children? Yes, it's terrible, but you know what? It'll happen again if we allow it. It'll happen again. All throughout history, there's always been a thread of brutality. It's always been there in human nature. Only one thing can hold back brutality, and that's morality. And you know what? Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So you never give a governing body, you never give a group, you never, ever give them absolute power. You keep the power dispersed among the general population. Now, friends, a lot of you have been listening to us for a long time, and some of you become discouraged. And you know what? This fight is not over. We're here on TV today. We're here on this little fledgling network that Ed Hubble, myself, some others are trying to do. And when I say myself, that means us, the shooting show audience, the shooting show group. Because, friends, it's got to be done. Right now we understand in Australia, the black market on guns is gigantic. There's a whole culture that the government's not aware of in Australia, or they can't do anything about it. But you see, we don't want it to come to that here in the United States. Now, friends, I would never consider buying illegal drugs. I don't want to break the law. There's no need in most cases to break the law. But you know what? If I'm having to defend my family, and the government has disarmed us, all of us, if I'm having to defend my family against roving gangs, against whoever, the New World Order police, and yes, they're out there, I might look at an illegal gun. At that point, I would never break the law, just wouldn't even think about it. I'm an FFL holder. You got to be squeaky clean. You got to be. But you know what? They disarm us, And a lot of you out there will say, wait a minute. The problem is, if we let them take them away, guess what, friends? It'll take a revolution to get them back. And you know, ask those folks in Tiananmen Square. Watch those folks. You see the video this week of the Chinese demonstrating outside our embassy over there in China? You know, that was a staged protest. The Chinese government staged that. They wanted their boy Clinton, whom they own. They want him to squirm. They wanted to see him grovel, and he did. That sorry, worthless piece of trash who is impersonating a public official. Yeah, they made him grovel. Hey, he was down there begging, oh, are you so sorry? He's so, you know, we shouldn't have been in Kosovo. No, we shouldn't have bombed the Chinese embassy. We shouldn't be in Kosovo in the first place. But you know, I noted with interest the crowd outside the embassy. They had slingshots. That's what the Chinese government allows their citizens to have, unless they're fighting for them. They give them slingshots. But you know, it's going to be hard hunting that deer with a slingshot, isn't it, friends? And realize they talk about the handguns, the old powerful handguns. Well, guess what? Those boys in Colorado, they had shotguns. The common, everyday, in many, many households, shotguns. That was what they had, and the police out there said they were outgunned.
Homemade bombs.
You know, hey, what about the homemade bombs? You know, the Philadelphia Inquirer, and I got to hand it to them. They did an interview with me and printed a few paragraphs of what I said, and they were fair. They said, well, what do you think, Johnny? I said, tell you what, they had more bombs than they had guns, those boys in Colorado. What they're going to do, they're going to start licensing barbecue grills because you have propane tanks. Hey, what about things like Drano? What about ammonium nitrate that so many of us have fertilized our gardens with? You know, we're going to start licensing everything? No, they don't want to do that. What they want to do is disarm us as American citizens. They want to take away everything from us that goes bang so we cannot argue with their police state. That's what they want to do, friends. You know, Godson, let me show you some pictures. Let me show you something right now. It's really important. Now, friends, this is from the May 3rd Richmond Times-Dispatch. Look at this. Some see Marine exercise as sinister. Corps to train here for foreign urban role. Wait a minute, our military is not supposed to be police. Here you have an American city, and here you have an American Marine marching down a highway with an AR-15 or M16 for that matter. Look at this. And some people are really worried here about just what this is about. Marine exercise sinister, some as city action nears, Corps snorts at plot. Wait a minute, friends, why are we training Marines for urban warfare and going for house-to-house searches? Why are we doing that? Here they come. The Urbana lumber company. Isn't that something? A squad of Marines there with weapons at the ready. This is the Richmond Times-Dispatch in Richmond, Virginia. Hey, friends, they're not kidding. What's this about? What is this about? Now, friends, this is not a joke. These newspaper articles, this is not a joke. We've heard of this going on all over the country. Why are we training our police, our military, to be police? They're not supposed to be police. They're supposed to be an army. They're supposed to fight wars. They're supposed to go in and win. They're not international peacekeepers. That's not what they're for. This is going on right here in the United States. What is the deal? You're not, you know, maybe your neighbor said, oh, there's nothing to worry about. I think there is something to worry about. They're trying to take away our guns. Right now, who the heck knows? Now the Chinese communists have both ends of the Panama Canal. They bought every secret that Bill Clinton could possibly let them have. They've absolutely looked the other way. The FBI, all these investigations look the other way on the Chinese conspiracy. All these hearings going on, you know, this guy, this Chinese fellow, Chung, has been testifying. It doesn't seem to matter, friends, because the Clintonians have a lock on it. Now is the time for you to call your senator, and me too, all of us are going to call our senators, to call our representatives in Washington and tell them, look, we don't want any gun control. This is ridiculous. Don't try and disarm us. They got to be told. They got to be told now, friends. We don't have months or years to do this in. We've got to do it now. That's why it's so important we be on TV, because we've got to do it now. We don't have years to wait. Right now, who knows what they're going to try? Right now, they're going to try and stop all private sales of guns between individuals. Who knows what they're going to try and do? They may put an arsenal license on. You may not be able to buy gunpowder. You may not be able to buy primers, spare ammo. Who knows what? Now, friends, this is happening. It is happening now. They're working toward it, and we've got to stop it. We've got to reach more people. You know, I had a conversation this week, talked to a couple of folks from magazines. And you know, some of the print media, and we've supported some of the magazine folks in the past. We certainly have. But you know, some of them have their feelings hurt because we're doing things on television, and that's not the way it's always been done. And like I told that woman with the NRA years ago, before she hung up on me, I said, "Lady, the way we've always done it's not working. It's not working. We've got to do something different, and our only hope is strength in numbers to reach more Americans. Will you help us? Will you help us? Will you please? Will you please donate whatever you can to keep this program on the air so we can reach others? Will you please join our Gun Owner Rights Association, because the very fact that we're on the air shows that our GRA is doing something. Will you please? It's $50 for an annual membership, $300 for a life membership. Please help us if you will, friends. And Ed's Association is only $10. And some of you may want to join Ed's Satellite TV Association. That's not very much. Certainly our viewers help us fund this program. Friends, if you will, please send whatever you can to the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Duberly, Louisiana. The zip code is 71024. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. It has to be done. Will you please help us? Will you please help us reach more people? Because that's the only chance you and I and all of us as gun owners have, is reaching more people, and we've got to do it in a hurry. We need your help. This is not a hollow request. This is not a joke. Well, we've got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about a number of different things. We want to show something that I think is very important. Maybe we can get through before the rain starts and comes in on us here. We have an interview with Jim Clark Sr., which I think you're really going to enjoy. And let's do a little shooting. Let's get off to a great start here for our shooting show. We have some special ammunition here, a 12-gauge shotgun shell. It's an experimental load, and we really haven't shot this particular combination. And let's see how it looks on this target out here. Gracious. That, like I said, that was an experimental load. I think it needs a little more research, though, actually.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Friends, here it is. This is the great Georgia Arms 45 DA Colt or double action Colt cartridge. This is the first major improvement on the Colt 45 since 1873. They have this in loaded cowboy ammunition. They're also selling brass, so you can load your own combinations. This cartridge case is absolutely a joy to work with. We're even seeing improved accuracy, we think due to the slightly larger rim on our 45 DA Colt case. You can get a free catalog, or you can order these from Georgia Arms, 1-800-624-6861 for their entire lineup, and please tell them you saw it here on our show. And friends, of course, the cowboy load is mild but super accurate. And of course, you can take your hand loads up to the limit of what the loading manuals will allow. The great 45 double action Colt cartridge from Georgia Arms. Give them a call today, friends. A free phone call with a free catalog.
And of course, Georgia Arms has the best lineup of handgun and rifle ammunition. And for that matter, you can get components for them too. What you need to do is call their 800 number and get a free catalog. And friends, with Y2K coming up, with the Clintonian disaster in Washington, nobody really knows what is going to lie ahead for us as gun owners. Yes, they are shipping 460 Rowlands loaded ammunition. They absolutely are shipping that. And you can get the best ammo at the best prices. So please call them, and please tell them you saw it on our show.
You know, friends, one of the great things about having a .357 Magnum revolver is it will also shoot the milder .38 specials, whereas you can't chamber the .357 Magnum in a .38 special gun. You can chamber a .38 special in a .357 because of case length. Here's the mild .38 special. And again, when you want real power, you can shoot the .357. .357 shoots both equally well. And similarly, you can shoot the 44 special on your left in the 44 Magnum gun as compared to the 44 Magnum shell on your right. Here's the mild 44 special. And again, when you want real power, 44 Magnum. Well, what about the 45 ACP in comparison to our 460 there on the right? Now, friends, most of you are well aware of the tremendous 44 Magnum class power of our 460. But maybe you don't want 44 Magnum class power all the time. Maybe you've got some 45 ACP ammo and realize that our 460 is just a longer and much stronger 45 caliber projectile. Well, guess what? You can load 45 ACP in your 460. Can't put the 460 in a 45, but just like a 38 to 357, you can put the 45 in a 460. Let's see what happens. Just like that. Now then, some of the lighter target loads may not function, the heavier spring here in the 460, but anything resembling full power 45, isn't that amazing how that works? Well, there's more. Yes, even in the carbine that shoots our great 460 cartridge, watch this. Very low recoil, low noise, it works just fine. And then we have a 460 loaded, and if you want real power, you've got it. So yes, our 460 carbine and the pistol will both shoot the 45 ACP. In fact, they'll shoot the 45 ACP, the 45 Super, which is sort of like a plus P plus 45, and of course our incomparable 460 cartridge. Yeah, they'll shoot them all. So this is something that really could be useful. One, for practice. You may get a chance at some inexpensive 45 ACP surplus ammo for a while anyway, or in a survival situation that could be very important. And maybe for some applications you don't need the tremendous power of our 460. Well, you can use the other 45 caliber loads in 45 ACP, and yes, the mid-range 45 Super, which compared to our 460, it is sort of a mid-range caliber, but You can shoot them all in our kit for the 1911, also in the great carbine here we have. So yes, the carbines are on back order, so get in line now. But that's something that could be useful to a lot of us. Remember, the kit for the 1911 is only $275 plus $5 shipping. And of course the kit, the upper for the carbine, is $559. Complete guns are the same cost. Complete Kimber, $849, complete carbine, and I will add the carbines are on back order. And yes, of course, the revolvers like the great Dan Wesson will shoot the 45 auto rim, 45 automatic, our 460, and the Dan Wesson, of course, will shoot the 45 Winchester Magnum in Starline cases. However, we don't really see much of an advantage to that. But something that we wanted to show you, and of course you can get all these right here from the shooting show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Beverly, Louisiana. The zip code is 71024. Give us a call, 318-377-5189. Now friends, on last week's program we talked about the need to get people out shooting their guns, because you know what? If someone can shoot their guns in some sort of friendly competition, listen, we just didn't think of this last week. This has been going on among free peoples for centuries. You know, back in England, the citizens used to bring their bows and arrows and swords to church on Sunday, and they'd have archery practice. They'd have, after church, after all kinds of meetings, they'd have sword training, whatever you call that. Not sword, I don't guess they fought each other, but they probably did with wooden swords. I don't imagine it lasted too long with sharp steel. But friends, this has always gone on, firearms training. You know, there used to be shooting matches held all over the country. Used to be turkey shoots. A lot of the disciplines we have today came out of the community get-togethers that people used to have all over the United States. You know, we have promoted the IPSC, International Practical Shooting Confederation. We've promoted the IDPA, International Defensive Pistol Association, and that's good. They're fine. Problem is, IPSC has become mostly a game. You know, now to be competitive in IPSC in the unlimited class, you've got to have a semi-automatic gun with a dot sight, a dot scope on your gun, and your magazine better hold in excess of 20 some odd rounds. Well, you know, I don't think that the Clintonites are letting new magazines, new guns, come with 20 some odd round magazines. There are a few companies out there that, let's just say, were farsighted enough to realize that prohibition on magazine size was coming, so they made untold thousands of magazines, and somebody has figured out a way to get a whole bunch of 38 Super or 9x23 shells in one. But wait a minute, friends, that's Indy 500 stuff. One, your gun will cost $3,000, $4,000, $6,000. You may, to be competitive, you'll have to shoot in their disciplines 75,000 rounds a year, 100,000 rounds a year. Well, that's I guess you can afford to do it and you want to. That's fine, you know, because it teaches gun handling. It certainly teaches a form of marksmanship. And Bill Wilson's outfit, you know, we went up to Bill's place, and we still think a lot of the IDPA, it's much more realistic, but still, for example, I'm holding the best defensive handgun, the best defensive caliber, best defensive handgun combination that has ever been built, ever. It's our best, our 460 Rowland conversion on this great 1911. Has a compensator on the end of the barrel. Friends, this is the best there is. Our defense load has 750 foot-pounds of muzzle energy, 45 caliber diameter, a big hollow point bullet that is going to be better than anything that's ever been for defense. And yet in IDPA competition, I can't shoot this gun because it has compensator. Every one of these guns we sell, the automatics, have compensators, because that's the key to making the gun work and not destroy itself from excessive recoil or whatever else, battering, slide battering, anything like that. The compensator is a key part. You're seeing compensated revolvers now from Taurus, from Rossi, from Smith & Wesson, certainly from Dan Wesson. We'll have a compensator we'll probably be showing you next week for our 460 Dan Wesson. You know, they're very, very common now. Police are starting to carry them. So my point is, that's one of the rules I don't agree with about IDPA. Now then, I know why Bill did that, because they wanted to discourage the race guns, the compensated 20-shot 38 Supers, 25-shot 30 whatever 9x23s. They wanted to discourage that, and I appreciate that. But they have a system of rules that some of us out here, we just want to do something different. Because I certainly won't criticize any shooting group. That's great for the people that do it. But we want something that those of us who actually carry guns, and who the heck knows, maybe you've got a 38 special revolver or a 357 revolver at home. Well, heck, you can't be competitive on a course for IPSC. You certainly can't be. And you've got to shoot in the revolver class there on IDPA, but we're going to simplify it. We're going to start our own shooting association. We have started, actually. We're going to call it, thanks to a lot of you folks contributing ideas around the country, the best name we've come for on this is the GRA, Gun Owner Rights Association, Action Shooting. GRAAS, grass, as in grassroots. It's kind of fitting, isn't it? So anyway, that's what we're going to call it, and we're going to have some fun with it. You know, a lot of people have single action revolvers. A lot of people have gotten into cowboy action shooting, and which is certainly a lot of fun. Doesn't go into a whole heck of a lot about some different things, but you haven't had a chance. Some people have single actions that they use as their defensive guns. You know, nothing wrong with that. If you can shoot the gun, well, why not make it a situation where you can compete with your single action?
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
And we want to mention the good folks at Clark Custom Guns in Princeton, Louisiana, one of the most complete gun shops in the entire United States. They do all sorts of things like this specialty meltdown on this new STI gun. Also, they have an excellent staff of people to help you with guns such as these Benelli Super Black Eagles, taking 3.5-inch magnums, a complete line of handguns, semi-automatics, revolvers, all sorts of neat things in the shop there. And of course, here's Mr. Jim Clark himself out helping a customer, some of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. They have a complete line of loading supplies, loading tools, gunpowder, you name it, primers, all sorts of accessories for your guns, whatever you might need, certainly within reason. Here's Kay Clark Michalik when she's not winning championships, back working there in the office. And here's her husband, Jerry Michalik, the fastest revolver shooter in the world, when he's not winning championships at work. Here's Jim Clark Jr. back on the lathe, the same drill. When he's not winning championships, working right there in the shop. That's why you can get such complete quality of product and expertise here at Clark Custom Guns. Friends, give them a call today, area 318-949-9884. They have a great catalog. We appreciate them supporting our project. And we want to remind you now about our Fun Gun Weekend at Clark Custom Guns. That'll be June 5th and 6th. And friends, you're welcome to come join us. It's going to be going on all day, Saturday the 5th and Sunday the 6th. We will have our first GRA action shooting matches. You're going to see some great exhibitions. We're going to have some great fellowship. My goodness, Bob Serva and his crew from Dan Wesson are going to come down, let you shoot their guns. You'll be able to shoot our 460s and just have a lot of fun among shooters. It is going to be a great weekend. We're going to have a fish fry on Saturday afternoon. It's going to be a great time for everyone present. There are plenty of hotels and motels in the Shreveport, Bossier, and Minden areas. That won't be a problem if you come down, you don't have reservations. There are always plenty of hotel rooms in our area available. Friends, we look forward to seeing you. It's going to kick off around 9 o'clock on June 5th on that Saturday morning, and I'm sure everyone's going to have a great time, so we look forward to seeing you there. Friends, you've heard me say we'd sell ice cream with this show if we could get a sponsor, and this week we're selling dance videos, anything to help out. If you feel like you've been a wallflower for too long, or you in fact have 2 left feet, well, these dance videos could be your answer.
This is level 2 single time East Coast swing. On this video, we will learn the forward promenade twist, backward promenade twist, kick step, the bumps, the peekaboo, the toe heel swivels, sweetheart, the advanced sweetheart, the lock, the triples, tuck and turn, and the switchback.
Realize, friends, these videos are only $34.95. They're available from TV Productions Incorporated, 106 East Kings Highway, Suite 216 in Shreveport, Louisiana. That zip code is 71104. For more information, you can give them a call, area 318-869-0439. Again, area 318-869-0439. And please tell them we appreciate them helping to sponsor our shooting show.
Well, why not make it a situation where you can compete with your single action? Maybe even allow 2 single actions, maybe 3. I heard about a club in California several years ago that they were an IPSC club and they were action shooting club, and had a guy out there who was a single action enthusiast, and he was real good with a single action revolver, and he would compete with the boys with the high capacity automatics. And they let him have 3 guns. He had them in holsters, probably a shoulder holster, well secured. Safety first consideration, safety first. And you know, sometimes the old boy with the single action would win. You know, why the heck not? Why not? Have it available, have some things available that'll be fun and entertaining and with some realism. Now then, friends, something that I think is important for any of these guns is power factor. Now, we talk about that here on the program from time to time, is power. And in the IPSC, they have a major and a minor. But in reality, I think that their borderline for making major is not realistic. This is my own feeling. They can do what they want to do. I like their formula for power factor, which is muzzle velocity times bullet weight. They have a power factor of 175. Anything below 175 is minor. Anything above 175 is major. Okay, our ideas thus far, and you know, we're not beyond adjusting this, because this is something, we're in the very beginning of it. We're interested in your ideas, but we think that something's got to be done to get more people out there shooting, to get more people, beginners, where you can have a discipline that will be exciting for the beginner, but also challenging for the advanced shooter. Why the heck not? You know, why not? Show you some of the things we've come up with. This is really important because, again, getting more people involved. Now, friends, what we're doing, we're looking at this particular target, and we're going to have 3 different power levels. Because those folks with 380s, with 9mm, with 32s, many times wanted to shoot their guns, but they just weren't able to because it essentially wasn't allowed. We've got 3 power factors, and we're going to start, and you may want to get a pencil and a piece of paper because we're going to start this around the country. And we want as many of you in our Gun Owner Rights Association who will start having matches. We want as many of you who can. It'll be a great way for you to meet your friends and enjoy shooting an afternoon of camaraderie, and it'll help us reach more people. We can get more members. We can raise awareness and consciousness about what's going on in the battle. You get them involved, doggone it, and we're going to get some new participants to help us. Okay, here is our scoring situation as it looks at the present time. We're going to have minor up to 125, which will let the 380s, if those folks have them and want to shoot them, they can score with them. The power factor, and we're getting that 125 by multiplying bullet weight times diameter. Times velocity. Diameter is important too, but in this it's not going to be that big a factor. We're just going to go simple, bullet weight times velocity. For example, in this ring right here, this X ring, this small area, everything counts as 10. That's the way we're going to do it for now. Everything will be 10. All right, if you're shooting a major caliber, which would be 200 and above, and I didn't say what the medium was. Medium is going to be from 125 to 199 up to 199.9 up to 200. And major is going to be 200 and up. Now, for example,
Bullet weight.
a 200 power factor.
Okay.
Okay. Now, to give you an example, a 9mm, and I've got a calculator here in a few minutes, a 9mm with 115 grain jacketed hollow point running about 1,100 feet per second would be a medium power factor, as is a 40 S&W. A lot of people say, well, the 40 is major. It's really not. Maybe an IPSC they can make major, but in reality, a 40 is not a very powerful caliber. It's a good caliber if that's all you got and you can shoot it well, and maybe that's all the recoil you can deal with, okay. But a 40 is not a powerful caliber. Your basic 45 ACP, your wad cutters, even your basic hardball running along at 830 or so feet per second won't make 200. It's got to go a little faster. It's got to run about 870 to make 200. Okay, your basic 45 ACP is not a very powerful caliber. It's a medium caliber. The 38 Special, and I tell you what, the 357 is going to have a hard time making it with a 4-inch barrel, making major. It'll make medium, no problem. With a 6-inch barrel, a 357 will make major. 158 grain bullets got to run about 1,260 or 70 feet per second. It's easy for it to do in a 6-inch barrel. 4 is going to have trouble. We need a chronograph at the matches so we'll know what the individual's shooting. You'll take a few rounds of what everybody brings, run through the chronograph. That way we know. We know what we got. There's no ifs, no ands, no buts. Now then, the major calibers, like the 41 Magnum, the 45 Colt with good, some better loads in it, the 44 Magnum, the 44 Special with some better loads, certainly the 45 ACP with plus loads, and of course our 460. Our defense load runs about 250 on the scale, so it is way past major, but it's very controllable. We'll prove that in a few minutes. I hope we get a chance to today. Okay, here's what we're going to do. In this ring here, and try and follow me on this, any power factor in this small target is going to count a 10. Immediately below it, in about the same size target area, a major caliber would get a 10. A medium would get an 8, a minor a 6. All right, let's move outside it into the C zone on the IPSC type target. Major would be 7, medium 5, minor 3. And yes, we'll have this. You can get these rules. We're writing a rule book now. You can get these scoring specs here. Outside, over here in the D section, it's going to be major 5, medium 3, minor 1. For example, if you hit out here on a target with a, say, a 380, which would be minor, below 125 power factor, it's not going to have much effect. Yet if you hit it with this 41 Magnum or this 460 out here, that big hollow point bullet, it's going to have a dramatic, well, probably 4 or 5 times that amount of effect. All right, up here, this area right in here, 753, the same as the C zone here, and this little block here would be a 10 for anything. Okay, now that may seem complicated, but it's really not, because this way, let's move over here to our next paper here. All right, this is how you would score it. On each individual, you would have a record on the score sheet, of course it'd be a little handheld sheet, of what someone was carrying. Say, here's Johnny. All right, let's say that I had maybe a 357, which I probably wouldn't, but for argument's sake, here we go. In certain applications I might, okay? So my score will run here in the medium category, simple thing. But let's say that Heather, she likes a 41 Magnum, so she would be scored over here in major. And then we had maybe a neighbor come over that's got a 32 automatic, and that's all he's got, but he wants to shoot. He would be, Mr. Neighbor, okay? He would be scored in the minimum. That's where he would be in this column. It is simple, and you see that way we get to level the playing field. And look, come back over to this, to our silhouette here. See, you can be competitive with the little guns if you're a real good shot, and we've always said that. To have the smaller handguns, the smaller calibers, you got to be a better shot because you have a much smaller area of effectiveness on a target. Especially if you're having to defend yourself. Some of these women out there that got these 380s or 32 Magnums or whatever, the little calibers, you've got to be a better shot because you've got a smaller area that will be effective on a target. And there's nothing wrong with talking about defending yourself. All right, if you've got a medium power gun, a 9mm, a 40, something like that, a 38 special, even a 357 with a light bullet, this would be you'd have a larger area that would be more effective. And certainly, and yes, we are trying to encourage and reward those who can handle the more powerful guns, because more power is more effective on the target. And you'd be surprised how easy these things are to shoot. Certainly our 460s and our combination here, but there are others. The 41 Magnum revolver, some defense load in the 44 Magnum, the 45 Colt, certainly the better loads in the 45 ACP. These are much, much better choices for defense if you can handle them. Maybe you start off with a medium size or a medium caliber like a 40 or a 9mm or a 38. Learn to shoot it well, then you can move up to your better calibers, to your more effective calibers. Well, let's show a couple of drills that we can do. Now, friends, something we will show you. This is one of our 460 revolvers. In fact, I'd have our Dan Wesson out here today. It went back to the factory. They want to do some testing on some loads that I worked up for it. That's the only one we could spare was mine, which is okay. Anyway, this is our 460 Smith & Wesson. Let me show you something. We'll have someone, when we're doing any kind of match like this, you have a range officer. Your range officer has the timer, and let me tell you what, your range officer's word is law. You listen because he is someone, when you're involved in shooting, it is exciting. And remember what we talked about, and yes, I got my hands through the cylinder here. Sometimes a new shooter will get so excited, they'll bang, 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 and then they'll turn around, and guess what? Look where that muzzle's pointed. You know, and my hand's out, of course. My hand is through the cylinder. There's no way this gun can go off. But you see, people, and when they start their turn, you go, oops, no. You don't break. You don't break this angle here and turn at any point back toward those behind you. In fact, it's a good policy. And this will be, because safety is so important here. You unload the gun and show clear before you even leave the spot. Your final place in shooting, range officers said, show clear. They'll say that. show clear, hammer down, show clear, for safety's sake, because there's a lot of excitement around this. And here's something that we want to show you, a little something we can do. And let's see, we got some of our defense loads here. A lot of people like to shoot bowling pins. I think that's a great discipline. Why not incorporate that? Why not incorporate a little silhouette shooting? And here's a simple thing that we can do. We've got 4 bowling pins set up here, and if we don't have people with stopwatches, the objective is going to be, we've got a 6-shot revolver, we've got 4 bowling pins, and we've got steel targets. We're going to shoot the 4 bowling pins. They've got to be off the table, completely off the bar, and then the steel target, and then our timer will stop us on the last shot. It'll see how long it took. Let's just watch it in action, give you an idea how it works.
Shooter ready. Stand by.
All right, the next thing we do before we look at time, unload the gun, show it empty, hammer down, holster. Now turn around. Okay, what was our time?
3 and 8800.
3 and 8/800ths. Okay, that's not a that's certainly not a bad time. It's not, some of you would do it a lot faster. Some folks like our friend Bruce Warren would zip, Jerry Mitchell would zip and they'd be gone. But hey, it's about learning. It's about having fun.
That's right.
All right, that was with the draw. Let's try something else.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Friends, what we've done, maybe you'll have someone who's not comfortable with drawing. So what we'll do is we'll make a board or something here they can put the muzzle of the gun on rather than draw, because we're going to have some new shooters that are not comfortable drawing the gun.
Or maybe they don't have a holster.
Maybe they don't have a holster. That's true. So we can adjust for that. That's fine. Let them put the gun, say, muzzle down on a chair back or something handy, and they'll start from that. You may want to give them a 1 or a 1.5 seconds penalty, because a lot of people, that's how long a draw takes. 1 second, 1.5 somewhere there. And we're working on that. But this will be an option. Now, Heather's going to demonstrate here. And here's a case of, certainly, Heather is not a large person, certainly, but she can handle our 460 using the defense loads. So let's see how it looks. Okay, load and make ready. Okay. Muzzle on the chair, finger off the trigger. Shooter ready.
Shooter ready.
Stand by. And you worked on the target. Okay, show me clear. Great.
Clear.
Hammer down.
Hammer down.
Action closed. Great. I'll take the gun. Great. And you did well, Dawn. In fact, that last pin, I think it would have fallen off on its own, but you nailed it anyway, which is good shooting.
I think we can contribute that to the 460 rolling.
Well, yeah, it kind of caught it in midair and turned it around. But you see, friends, this is so much fun. Is this fun or what?
Oh, we love shooting.
Well,
We'd like to see more people get involved in shooting.
That's right. We've got to do it, and this is something, see, things like this, bowling alleys will give you the pins normally. I mean, they have them that are no longer useful. You can get them for nearly nothing. That's just one idea. Let's shoot another drill. Now friends, here we have another drill. We have a target here, and we've marked shotgun.
Now, friends, we've run out of time on today's program. We will be showing more of this. This is really some neat stuff we come up with for our Gun Owner Rights Association Action Shooting. Let's go to our support group. We have Steadcraft, a custom machine shop in Torrington, Connecticut. Their number is area 860-496-7001. We have Dennis Crocker, a firearms trainer there in South Carolina. Dennis is also selling Kramer holsters. His number is area 864-587-8722. We have Camouflage Technologies, the folks that paint gun stocks with remarkable designs there. Their number is area 909-674-6488. We have Custom Leatherwork and Saddlery in Denham Springs, Louisiana. They do all kinds of leatherwork. Their number is area 225-667-9225. We have Flying Horse Galleries, great artwork on the internet there, www.flyinghorse.net. Also, the Little River Trading Company in Cadiz, Kentucky, specializing in Civil War memorabilia. Their number is area 502-522-6167. Also, our friend Bruce Warren with BC Armory in East Leroy, Michigan. Bruce works on pistols and revolvers. His number is area 616-729-5508. Also, our good friend Wade Cottrell with Cottrell Refrigeration, Heating and Cooling there in Tuscumbia, Alabama. Wade's number is area 256-381-1887. Friends, thank you so much for being with us today. We look forward for you to get our broadcast on the American Freedom Network on satellite SpaceNet 4, channel 19, 5.82 audio from noon until 2 o'clock on Sundays. Also, we hope to have our gospel program up and running in a few weeks. We sincerely hope we can. Please support our network. Please, friends, if you will, please support our shooting show, because it's going to take all our efforts. This fight is not going to go away. We thank you so much for being with us on today's program, and we look forward to seeing you on the next shooting show.